My father had a quote which was a favorite. Zindagi zinda dili ka naam hai. Murda dil kya khak jiya karte hain. Be spirited. When the chips are up, when the chips are down, when you feel you're down and out, keep your spirits up. Those are in your control. External life situations are not in your control. But your interiority, keep it pleasant no matter what. And then play win-win-win. Play fair. Let's say my business is buyer, seller, but there are other stakeholders, the future generations, the Mother Earth, the society. Always work at playing win-win-win. These 3 wins will make you a great winner.
Hi everyone, warm welcome to Quantum Shift, a space where leadership meets spirit. I'm Saloni Singh, your host, a life coach for CEOs, conscious leaders, and entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their consciousness and lead from their higher self and purpose in life, business, and leadership. Today, I want to start this episode with a question for you, my listeners. If you were the highest individual taxpayer of your country, what would you like to do with your wealth? Would you invest in different industries, buy land or gold, go global? What would you do? Take a moment to think. Why I'm asking this question? Because today I am super thrilled to have a guest who has been India's highest individual taxpayer when he was only 28. Ashwani Khurana. He is the founder and CEO, Chief Eternal Optimist of Karma Lakelands, which is India's top eco-friendly golf course resort in Delhi NCR. I had to literally print. They have so many awards of excellence. Karma Lakelands is a land which he has transformed 270 acres of land into a lush sanctuary of nature and sustainability in Delhi NCR. Karma Lakelands is known for its water cycling, rain harvesting, organic farming, solar power, 5 forest zones, and is getting recognized as a biodiversity park as well. Ashwani Khurana and Karma Lakelands have lots of awards to their belt of awards. Kotler Award of Excellence for Lifetime Achievement, Champion Award for the Responsible Tourism Society of India, and the #1 eco-friendly golf club of India. Also the most eco-friendly golf course resort by Global Tourism. And recently they have been recognized as one of the 25 best projects in steward leadership excellence in Asia Pacific region. And when I met Ashwani ji for the first time at his home recently, one thing that really fascinated me was his simplicity as a leader. I think he's a leader who is deeply humble, grounded, a role model for many leaders and entrepreneurs. So without ado, let's welcome Ashwani ji. Welcome to the show, Ashwani.
Thank you. Thank you, Saloni.
I'm so happy to have you here today, Ashwani, because I think we need many role models for entrepreneurs and leaders when it comes to doing business with purpose, with joy, with love. Because this is a time in the world where businesses are thriving, but at the same time, human beings are really challenged with mental health challenges. And even though they make profit, they're not able to even enjoy the wealth they're making.
True.
We all know the stress, anxiety is literally, it's like a pandemic currently in the world, right?
Yes.
We are losing connection to our roots, to our own self as well. So, beginning with, you have been the highest individual taxpayer at a very young age of India. How did you start this journey of purpose driven leadership and business? You could have easily stayed on a path of high profit, isn't it? So, how did you pivot into it?
Very early in life, I realized that a person who loves himself has to transcend ego. Egotistic people obviously do not love themselves.
Mm.
So that, you call it purpose, you call it whatever, that was my realization in life. Then very long ago, in the lottery business where I was famous as a 21-year-old, I got full-time into that. I realized with one experience, that was social advertising on the back of lottery tickets, how I got there and what it got for me. At a meeting table with an English lottery company that was going to collaborate with us. Somebody said you sell 20 million lottery tickets a week. This is a great number. You could do advertising on the back of lottery tickets and sell this space. The year was 1990. Idea was great. I came back home, hired a marketing MBA to sell this ad space. India's top ad agency, Lintas, wanted to be the sole concessionaire. The product they brought to the table, interestingly, was red and white cigarette, a cigarette brand. It so happened some 3 months prior, I had banned smoking in all our premises, something that was not a regular practice in homes or offices. There was no law about it. I had done it. I didn't like it. Now, I was in a dilemma whether I get to work for more money, selling ad space, lottery tickets, carrying cigarette ads, or refuse. To keep the story short, not only did I refuse, a couple of months later, not getting the right kind of products to advertise, I shut the department and I decided I'll do social advertising on the back of lottery tickets. The first message I carried was an illustration of a grandpa, pa, and grandchild saying, if you love your children and grandchildren, please consider not being a smoker. The habit travels down. The second-hand smoking harm that you cause to your children and grandchildren. And this was the start of social advertising on the back of my lottery tickets when Babri Masjid was brought down. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian illustrations. Am I one of these first or an Indian first? National integration message. 3 years of social advertising later, all kinds of messages. A research agency is hired to help us understand how we can tick better in the business, customer profiling, etc. The finding says there are two kinds of lottery products selling in the country. One that are done by private companies, high on enterprise, low on credibility. Directly run by government, the lotteries would have high credibility but low enterprise. Social advertising was clearly understood by the masses to be something that's going to be done by the government. My Sikkim lotteries were perceived as more government than the government because of social advertising.
Right.
The lotteries were selling well. Enterprise wise, we were actually great. We'd moved from selling in these 3 years from 20 million lottery tickets a week to selling 50 million lottery tickets a day.
Wow.
And that money is the foundation on which my eco resort Karma Lakelands is today built.
That's just amazing, Ashwani. That you actually, what I heard was that you were just following your own higher value, but actually it brought a lot of credibility. So it just happened because you were not even thinking of creating a profit out of that. Yeah, that's
Karma.
Yeah.
So if your karma is right,
Yeah.
the cosmos, the kayanat is with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, if you're following the right path and connected to your heart and soul, it's naturally the whole cosmos is supporting you. Right?
See, my spiritual master was asked for one simple tip as a parting message at the end of an interview. He said, stay happy.
Mm.
A happy person always walks softly on the planet. He's forgiving. He doesn't litter. He forgives somebody who bumps into his car. There's no road rage that he's going to do. A happy person is a responsible, eco-friendly person. That's all one has to be.
I love that. And that seems like an essence of spiritual leadership. I was about to ask you this, that elaborate more on this. So when you say just be happy as a leader, and when you are happy, you naturally are doing the right things. That's right. So when it comes to stress in business, I'm sure you must have had your own challenges in business, in personal life as well. So what could be the ways that you navigated to stay really happy, connected to your joy, that led to creating such beautiful businesses?
See, if you are resilient, you're focused on what you got to do, you know is the right thing to do, and business again profits. Money is not a dirty word. You understand that very clearly. And if the resilience, the right focus is there, the respect for what you're doing for yourself is there, then nothing stops you from success. And what is success? Success is not just financial rewards.
Right.
A successful life is a happy, joyful, giving,
Hmm.
forgiving
Yes.
life.
Beautiful.
And that's what
Hmm.
I've been spiritually inclined and
Right.
thoughtful about.
Hmm.
And
Right.
for example, I'll tell you, the Karma Lakelands Golf Resort, land was bought way back some 35 years ago.
Right.
It was not a business idea. I was just as a youngster motivated to plant a lot of trees. Nek Chand, the creator of the Chandigarh Rock Garden, my own mother, were the two motivators. Plant some trees outside the home, not just outside your own gate. Another 4 homes abutting to your house. Plant outside them also. Nurture them.
Hmm.
Nek Chand, the creator of the rock garden, came in my life. I was motivated to plant trees. And this first lot of trees that were planted in my home gardens, when I saw them 6 months ago grow, I was overwhelmed, like you see your child grow,
Yeah.
completely blown and overwhelmed.
Hmm.
And that's how the beginning happened. And a few years down, I decided I'm going to plant 10,000 trees every year. I looked at 4 years of counting, 28,000 trees, not 40,000.
Okay.
Started buying lands. People asked me, why are you buying so much land in the boondocks beyond the city limits? As a youngster, if you want to make a statement, if you're ego driven, you would do downtown investments. You can show
Hmm.
people your multi story tower and you feel great that this is my building. Boondocks, nobody wants to see what it is. But I got to grow my trees.
Yeah.
And my numbers 28,000 in the last 4 years, and time is running out. So the lands were bought. People asked me, why are you doing that? I said, there's no business plan. I'll grow trees. Many years down the line, I heard the government was going to acquire for urbanization the entire zone. And having planted trees, I had fallen in love with them. They were like my children. So experts were called in, and I was told, get a low density development approval from the government, and they will not pursue acquisition.
Okay.
I got the approvals of a golf resort, happy that the problem is over, till I learned I have to implement what I got approved. Otherwise, these approvals lapse. So started to implement planting trees on a golf course. Rainwater harvesting and other green practices came later.
Okay.
Started with trees. The slogan of Karma Lakelands in 5 words is, it all started with some trees.
Right. Beautiful.
And today, it's a couple of $1 billion business.
Hmm.
The pursuit was never that.
Yes.
So if your karma is right, the cosmos colludes favorably.
Hmm.
And it may collude favorably to give you joy, to make it a meaningful life for you and your people. Maybe big profits, small profits, whatever you're destined to get is fine. My prayer to God always has been, will be, is God, give me the strength and resources to pay my bills on time. Now he has to decide whether he wants to buy me a Rolls Royce and get those bills paid on time, or a Maruti. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
And things do well when you have a larger
Hmm.
goal than making money.
So interesting, Ashwani, that because I was about to ask you, like, how did the vision for Karma Lakelands came into, and you already answered that you never started with a business plan,
It wasn't.
which is so, kind of opposite from what has been taught in business schools or in business environment, because everybody says, oh, you have to have a clear business plan, a goal and a vision and a mission, and that's how a business thrive. Very linear approach, most of the times at
This
least.
approach is fine,
Which is
but necessarily life will not unfold that way.
yes.
And sometimes you have your dreams, your visions.
Mm.
life opens something different,
Different.
and then you look back and say, thank God you did not listen to me.
Yeah. Also, the way you did, what I'm hearing is that you just followed your joy. You
Yes,
got that inspiration from your mother and from your mentor, Niki Chanji, that you just wanted to plant trees, and the joy of seeing them growing
that's right.
kept leading you in the same path. And
And then I met people, and then my vision expanded
yeah.
from planting trees to conscious living,
Mm.
responsible practices.
Mm.
And that's how rainwater harvesting,
Mm.
zero waste living, composting, and all
Sustainability begin.
these sustainability
Yeah.
things
So,
started to
what were the
happen.
challenges? Were there any challenges that came on this path of sustainability? Because it's a common, notion that sustainability and profitability, they do not go hand in hand. We've heard that a lot of times. People think it's a lot of it's not cost effective. A lot of money goes into creating sustainable environments and resorts, and that's why people try to go for shortcuts and doing things in a way which are not very eco friendly. We know. So, how did you manage that and still stay profitable?
I'll give you my composting business story.
Yeah.
Somewhere in 99, I decided to do the city waste composting business on a grand scale of 500 metric tons of garbage of the city municipality to be turned into compost every day.
Okay.
When the inauguration day happened, the chief minister of Delhi, the municipal commissioner of Delhi, that people and the bosses came in. I reached the factory a couple of hours before the VIP arrival, told them to run the machines. Now, the process was this: the unsorted municipality garbage in trucks arrives. We spray pathogens that will expedite decomposition into compost of compostable part of the garbage. It is unsorted, as I said.
Okay.
Many weeks down, composting has happened. There are various kind of processes, blowers, conveyor belts that segregate construction rubble, plastic, and eventually, at some point, the compost. When the machines started to roll for the first run in front of me, a lot of input was going, and the output, the compost, was very little.
Okay.
I asked for the numbers. I was told when the feasibility studies for this business of composting of city waste was done, the raw material, the compostable part, was estimated to be 40%. But what we are getting is 18%.
Okay.
I just shut my eyes and started to think. I started to cry. I bawled like a baby in a corner. I really did that. Not because 12 crores of rupees had gone down the drain. I was very clear about it.
Mhm.
But because of the disaster we, the humanity, were doing to our Mother Earth. Our consumption patterns in these 4 5 years had changed so drastically that we were not any longer generating 40% of our city waste as biodegradable, which is your fruit and plant waste, your fruit skins, your plant choppings. No, it's plastic, it's construction rubble, it's broken chairs and stools. And it's moved from 40% to 18%. And this is the disaster humanity is doing to itself.
Right.
We are digging our own grave, the planet that we will leave for our children and grandchildren. I thought of that. I wept. I also thought in the next 10 years, this 18% will probably become 8%. Maybe we are there. I don't know the numbers, but we are there. And I still stayed resilient in doing a business where my passion lied. And that's how the Karma Lakelands Eco Resort uh, and the compost factory both were put together, but one went on to do well. The other found its own course. Somebody else must be doing something, I don't know.
Okay. So, what kind of practices can you share? A couple of practices that you follow at Karma Lakelands, and which adds to sustainability and environment.
Uh, you talk of sights, sounds, smells.
Right.
You talk of clean, green, serene, and eco responsible. These are the buzzwords that have driven me and my business. Whether you come to my home in town or Karma Lakelands, the story begins at the guard room. The gate says no horn. The guard will respond to sight, not sound.
Okay.
Within the campus, honkers are intercepted by a lady gardener passing by, the guard, the office staff, whoever sees a honker flags them down, folds their hands, and says, "This is a no horn place." So, because we are working on sounds, sights, plants, flowers, cleanliness, we have a practice. We call it a bending exercise, a yoga exercise.
Yeah.
Each one in the company, in the family of all staff members, their area of influence, outside their homes. You bend to pick up litter and put it in the bin at least once in a day. The belief and the confirmation now is that it begins with one and does not end one. You want to respect your Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And if you want to respect Mother Earth, you want her to be clean, you want her to be nourishing. She should have healthy soil, healthy water should irrigate healthy soil with high carbon content to produce healthy food. And that healthy food is going to determine your health and your children's health. This is the message we give out, and we walk that talk day in and day out at Karma Lakelands. There are 23 open wells that were existing in the property when it was bought. The entire 270 acres rainwater runoff goes into these 23 open wells, percolates into the water table or into the lake system where we hold it for future irrigation. Entire recycled water generated by the campus goes into irrigation rather than drawing fresh groundwater. We have symbiotic relationships with the neighborhood. There's a housing community abutting our boundary. Their 550 apartments generate recycled water. There's no sewage system. The symbiotic relationship is this: their recycled water gets pumped to irrigate one out of the 5 forest zones of Karma Lakelands. I often point out to people, showing them the prosperous plant life, the trees, the forest, also pointing out at the residential towers. Anytime when somebody in one of those buildings goes to the toilet, these trees are smiling. Food is on the way. The trees say thank you. Oxygen as a payback for the food is on the way back. And this is a symbiotic relationship.
Wow, so beautiful. I remember when I met you, you mentioned about the bending exercise, and and you also shared that it's also an ego check, keeping your ego in check.
If you bend,
Yeah.
you stretched your back,
Yeah.
you stretched your ego.
Yeah.
You didn't think, I didn't throw this piece of garbage.
Why should I pick?
So the moment you become a picker of garbage, you're obviously not a chucker of garbage.
Yeah. And I noticed that afterwards that actually we don't do that often. Because when it came into my awareness, I'm like, yeah, we don't do that very often. So it's beautiful, the all the practices you shared.
And ego bending.
Ego venting, yes.
You know, if you transcend ego, that means you truly love yourself. You're a good child of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And the Creator is going to make sure that you do well.
Yeah.
Karma Lakelands recently got a Steward Leadership Award, as you just mentioned.
Yes.
25 for-profit companies in a year get this award in Singapore.
Okay.
And this is 25 chosen from the entire Asia Pacific region.
Wow.
We were one of those. Because for us, pursuit of the right karma and the resultant profit was the way we worked.
So tell us more about steward leadership. What is your take on it?
There's this foundation called Stewardship Asia
Yeah.
Center, SAC. This foundation is managed by a company of the Singapore government. They've set aside some $945 million for good work.
Okay.
And in a year, 25 companies that could be profit at the bottom, pursuit of planetary friendly practices, environmental care, future generations is at the top of their priorities.
Okay.
Number 2 being their people being looked after.
Mm.
3 is profit, versus a company which would say profit at the top, people, planet. So we were chosen as one of the companies which says planet is the top priority, followed by people and profit.
Okay.
And the CEO of SAC, Rajiv Peshavaria, has released a book where he's taken case study of companies that have done well and the companies that have not done well.
Okay.
It's called Sustainable Sustainability. Companies which were profit first did not last more than 18 years. He says the lifespan of a corporate on an average is 18 to 19 years.
Okay.
There are companies which have done well for 50 to 150 years. If you look at them, they have one thing in common. All of them say planet first,
Wow.
future generations first, environment first.
Beautiful.
Our people, number 2, profit resultant, whatever.
Right.
And he's
Yeah.
taken the names of companies. Tata's is one of such companies. Faber-Castell, a company that makes pencils, hugely successful.
Yes.
The for-profit as God kind of companies, Enron, Boeing, Volkswagen, which was famous for your Dieselgate scam. These may be huge corporations, but they get wiped out in no time.
Yes. Yes. So shortcuts don't live. They also live short. that's what the message
So
I'm getting. Yeah.
we were so touched. Honestly, I was touched to tears when I got to know we're getting this award.
Yeah.
And 1 in 25 in the entire Asia Pacific region. So
Beautiful.
I thought there's a validation of how we worked.
Yes.
We don't have to say anything more.
Yeah.
There's a larger logic behind the normal logic that you have to be return on investment driven. I'm not saying people should not be logical, but do know that there's a larger logic of the creator at play.
Of the bigger scheme of universe. Yes.
It is.
2 questions are coming to my mind, Ashwani. One something beautiful you said is that we have to transcend our ego. So I would love to know more about, were there times in your life when you have noticed that you are transcending your ego? Maybe ego is coming and you are kind of reflecting or navigating that path. And other, which is a linked one, is like, what challenges have come in this journey? I'm sure there must have come challenges where you had this dilemma of listen to the head and profit. Maybe stakeholders are saying that, okay, it's not going to be profitable, and you clearly see there's a risk in profit, but still you wanted to follow your heart and your values. And how did you navigate that? Because I think they both are linked.
Hindustan Lever was one case study that this book Sustainable Sustainability has talked about.
Okay.
And how a CEO comes and says, the equity holder's interest is not foremost for me any longer. And he started to do things. People thought this company, multi-billion-dollar company, will be wiped out. At the end of the whole story, they made far more money. But the resilience of the CEO was important. Yes, I could have advertised cigarettes and pan masala, zarda, and get paid for advertising revenues.
Right.
I didn't do that. And we got more money through selling more lotteries. 2 million, 20 million a week, turning to 50 million a day of sales. So this is there. So there have been times the land I bought, at some point it became 10 times the value, even 100 times the value,
Okay.
where your Karma Lakelands resort sits today. I was too busy counting the number of trees I've planted, the millions of liters of rainwater harvesting that are happening every year, the bees, the butterflies, the bugs. I give you a story that somebody advised that if you floodlight the golf course, you'll make much more money, more golfers, more buzz, more returns. And I said, look, when the creator created the creation, including golf, he had very clear plans what happens in the day and what happens in the night.
Right.
He did not intend to have golf to happen at night in the dark in floodlights. The environmental way to look at the same thing is I've created a biodiversity park, not just a golf resort. They are intermingled. If I bring in light pollution, my birds, bees, butterflies, and bugs will be harmed. They'll get killed. And is that not my larger purpose than making money? Today, because of this larger purpose, the brand that got identified as a responsible brand got one of the most responsible real estate developer companies to approach us. For every one development management or collaboration agreement Shobha Developers, this company, signs, they've refused maybe 100 people the proposal to partner.
Okay.
And they approached us. And today we are making Shobha Aranya a conscious community of homes which is weaved across through all kinds of practices, including architecture, austerity of the world's resources. And this happens. So now, straight logic, I cannot explain.
Yeah.
Larger logic, because of a larger purpose, is right in front of you to see.
Yes.
So that's all I can say. So many times in terms of challenges in personal life, I also give credit to my spiritual master. There was a time of 18 months. I lost 2 children in a car crash. I lost a marriage. I treasured that marriage as life. I had tax investigations and raids. I went to jail for a few weeks.
Okay.
18 months, everything happened. All hell broke loose. The most learning period of my life, which I very proudly share with people, is my 3 weeks in jail. I slept on the floor. I did not feel devastated. All I did was I scaled up my yoga and my meditation. After I used to get off my morning meditation 2-3 hours, as it was scaled up now, I would touch my shirt. It was wet. Tears were flowing, tears of joy, tears of bliss, tears of gratitude.
Really?
Energies were scaled up to a different level. And I was actually reminded, my master said, if you've not experienced tears of love, joy, gratitude, or bliss, you're yet to taste life. So all of us mostly experience tears of despair, frustration, pain. This pain is inevitable.
Yes, we all have.
But it's your choice whether to suffer it or not.
So how did you find that resilience, that power within you? Because anybody would feel devastated in such a situation, what you described, and over 18 months period, so much happened in your lives, such difficult challenges you faced. Where did that power, that inner great resilience came from?
See, the spiritual understanding that death has to happen, whether of a person or of a relationship or of a business. I lost my 1,000+ crore a year lottery business,
Okay.
to the mafia. They're very famous and infamous these days.
Okay.
But I just walked off the table when my time was out.
Mm.
Detachment I had.
Beautiful.
And I didn't regret.
Okay.
So you win some, you lose some. This is the drama of life.
Yeah.
Don't get too entangled with it. Indulge in it. Be very intense in your indulgence, but be accepting of the truth of life. Whatever
Everything.
is predestined has to happen, let it happen. Don't resist it. Your resistance will make no difference.
Right.
If somebody has to go, it was predestined, they've gone. The relationship, the people, and if you understand it spiritually, can you imagine the day of the death of my two children? Same evening, there was a satsang planned in my house, 400 people coming. Sadhguru sent me a message, we are calling it off in view of what's happened in your house. And I said, no, Master, you've told us this, whatever happens is inevitable. The business of life has to go on. Let it go on uninterrupted. Let's have the satsang. Let's have the dinner as was planned after the satsang. And it happened.
Wow. It's huge. So, are there any spiritual practices, Ashwani, that you follow? Because to understand something and to be able to really live that could be different. Though, of course, I understand that deeper understanding leads to embodied experience as well. But is there anything that you do on a daily basis to really stay rooted and grounded in this spiritual understanding that you're sharing?
Yes, I learned certain mantras
Okay.
from a spiritual master in Haridwar. I met Sadhguru
Okay.
and I learned inner engineering
Mm.
and certain other practices. So, whether it's your bending, stretching, twisting, turning, physical yoga exercise, or other yoga practices of meditation, sit down for a while with your eyes shut, reflect, don't wrestle with your thoughts, let them come and go. All that kind of
Take care.
things, a couple of hours a day, I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
There was a time many months ago, I was starting to get overwhelmed. Life situations, business situations
Mm.
were getting too tough.
Okay.
I got into a little apprehension that depression may happen.
Mm.
So in the morning, when I went to play golf, something came to my mind. I just took off my shoes and I started to play barefoot golf. Thankfully, yours truly happens to own the golf course, writes the rule book,
Right.
so has the right to change
To
the rules.
change. Yeah.
It's a very unacceptable
Yeah.
protocol on a golf course to
Mm.
play barefoot, because at the ashram where I used to go for intense meditation, they would advise us to keep as much bare feet as possible through the day.
Okay.
I derived from that logic to see what happens when I ground my energies myself with Mother Earth. Bare feet golf. I played 2 hours of bare feet golf, felt nice. I started to do this for 1 year. And in this 1 year, I'm so exuberant. It just took me a few days to realize that I could look God in the eye and say, bring it on. Whatever you have for me, bring it on. I don't pray ever to God to keep me protected. I never seek this from my master in his blessings. Let it all come. And when I'm grounded with Mother Earth, the exuberance in my energies gives me that strength. And yet, am I being cocky? Am I being arrogant? Or I humbly submit? The same act could be coming from two different places. I think I humbly submit.
So beautiful. Do you have any future vision for yourself and for Karma Lakelands, your businesses?
I'm set out to make a conscious community of residents
Okay.
doing the right practices, respecting the Creator's creation. The Mother Earth is respected. And in fact, Mother Earth, Mother India, in the last 2 years and a half, three things have happened. Number one, my own mother, Ma Kailash, when she passed away, I shared with family that the ritual that I've thought for myself and documented, never talked about so far, is that I want to go 6 feet under from soil to soil smokelessly when I leave this planet.
Okay.
I want to be buried. I do not want to see combustion happen and more air pollution occur because I left this planet.
Right.
So I shared this with my sister, with my family, and said, can we do this for mother? They all happily agreed.
Okay.
So mother's resting till eternity in one non-development corner at Karma Lakelands.
Okay.
That's where I will be. And today, there are 6 of us who call themselves the 6 feet under club. A friend of mine, I love him to death. They call him People Baba.
Yeah.
He's planted about 3 crore trees
Yes.
in his 44 years of planting.
Mm.
He's a plantation partner with us at Karma Lakelands.
Okay.
And we give him a couple of truckloads of plants, their seeds, saplings every year. He's one of the 6 feet
6
under
feet.
club members.
Okay.
Dinesh Chandra, a consultant from US.
Mm.
My own partner, Dicky Tenzing.
Okay.
So
Nice.
just sharing.
Mm.
And when mother arrived in the campus, it so happened a couple of months later, some other incidents, and we decided to have a 108 feet high Indian national flag at the clubhouse, the Club Karma.
Okay.
Every evening, the national anthem happens there. There's so much sweetness about it.
Beautiful. Mm.
So the flag of Mother Earth, Mother India, my mother resting till eternity, blessing me from down under.
Mm.
The third thing is happening nowadays. We decided to have the 10th hole to add on to the beauty, the greenery, the views, especially from the Shobha Aranya apartments of the future that are happening. The Australian golf course designer came out with an innovative idea. The green, which will be a couple of thousand square yards of land space, will be in the shape of the map of India.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's almost complete as we speak, maybe 2-3 weeks down,
Nice.
with an elephant-shaped bunker, a sand bunker, represents our Indian elephant.
Elephant. Mm.
So Mother Earth, Mother India,
Mm.
Mother,
Beautiful.
and then a massive $1 billion project unfolding, all happening in synchronicity.
Mm.
There's a larger blessing happening here.
And very naturally, without a linear
Organically. I'm a very
path.
simple
Yes.
business brains. I don't think I'm a great strategist either. Yes, being karma driven, I think is good strategy.
Yeah. I remember you also shared with me that when I met you, that every morning at 7 o'clock you do a prayer at Karma Lakelands at your home
Yes.
as well.
Can you imagine it's happening in 8 different places today? Different
Mm.
departments, different locations,
Mm.
8 different places.
Mm.
Face the rising sun,
Okay.
fold your hands, and sing one of the prayer songs which is not religion driven.
Mm.
That's the criteria.
Okay.
ए मालिक तेरे बंदे हम,
Mm.
इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय
विजय।
करें, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करें.
Yeah.
Love of the self is the greatest romance on earth.
Yes.
This is the Hindi
Yeah.
English translation.
Yeah.
One of these songs is played at 8 of these places every
Okay.
day. When people fold their hands, there's an energy balancing.
Yes.
There's a humility about it.
Mm.
And I get feedback from my hotel guests. The sweetness they see in the energy, the way people greet them. It's not being done because it's an SOP. It's done with a certain level of, surrender,
Okay.
respect.
Yes.
And the business is booming.
Yes.
From pre-COVID to now, the company business is 10 times more. In the next 1 year, I will be saying it'll be 100 times more.
Wow. What I'm hearing is when you really live those spiritual values on a daily basis, moment to moment, like you're mentioning about prayers and creating all these sustainable practices and staying rooted and grounded close to Mother Earth. And I love the word you use is the sweetness. There's a sweetness in the environment. And I have been to Karma Lakelands many times. You just sense there's a shift in energy the moment you enter even the campus. It's like there is the sweetness in the energy. And I feel it's about the people who are living because the employees are also kind of bathing into that same energy. That's what I'm feeling,
It's for
right?
everyone.
It's for everyone, yes.
Family,
Yeah.
the management, the
Yes.
working
Yes.
people.
Everyone.
And there's a sense of brotherhood.
Yes.
You know, there's one environmental message we have. थैला बोतल और रुमाल धरती माता हमें संभाल.
Okay.
Each one of us strive to carry a cloth bag,
Bag.
a water bottle,
Okay.
and a handkerchief in our pocket so that
Oh,
we
no
don't waste
waste.
tissue papers.
Mm.
We have the eco-urinal blocks in our men's room urinals.
Okay.
This is a non-plastic bioproduct
Mm.
which needs 0 drop of water to make your toilet smell free.
Mm.
And so there are practices like these that make us very different, very special. The Indian School of Hospitality is a culinary school with international Swiss affiliations.
Mm.
We've given them a couple of acres of land
Mm.
to come and do experiential farming at Karma Lakelands
Right.
organically.
Mm.
They often send their kitchen waste into our campus
Okay.
that goes as feed for the cows and goats or for direct composting.
Right.
The same vehicle picks up organically grown fruits and vegetables, takes it back. Children come to look at how the farming has been done. If a future chef of the top standards that these people are going to churn out, I know,
Right.
has put his hands into growing organic food,
Mm.
as a chef, he'll not be wasteful of these vegetables and fruits.
Yes.
This is what they say they believe, and it'll happen for sure.
Beautiful.
So, we talk all these things, money and business happens.
Mm.
We don't do business, it
Yes,
happens.
it happens naturally. I really didn't need to ask you what is spiritual leadership because what I heard in this whole conversation is that your karma itself is rooted in spirituality. That's what spiritual leadership is, what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. So I would just ask you two questions to wrap up this beautiful conversation. I'm really enjoying. We could keep going. I know. How would you define success? If simply anybody who is a new entrepreneur, a young person who want to start a business, they're listening to you, how do you define success?
A meaningful life, well lived, a legacy left behind. Now, I could be thinking about leaving a legacy, and this thought could be coming out of my ego, or just my karma makes me and my work remembered.
Yes.
So if I'm leaving a piece of earth, greener, chemical free, happy looking, I get the blessings of the entire creator's creation. I'm inclusive. At Karma Lakelands, we don't bother about which religion you are from when we hire you.
Yeah.
Man, woman, color, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In fact, differently sexually inclined people are very much included in our staff and given all the respect, no judgmentality.
Right.
So if I walk this all through my life and others take it from me, it's a life well lived. And then another thing is, you should not be sitting with unfinished business of life. The day a surprise call happens for you, you should be ready with your
Ready to
bags
go.
packed to go.
Ready to
And
go.
if you've actually reached there, like I now know, the day you've overcome fear of death, that is the day you will truly start living. One day, I actually told myself, the day I overcome the fear of going to jail because there was a bunch of people who wanted me there because of some personal
Okay.
unreasonable issues, but they were strong people.
Right.
And so I actually told myself, the day I have overcome the fear of being taken to jail is the day, even in the jail, I will not feel like jailed. So these are the two situations that I've experienced in my life. I've spiritually evolved. I have a master who gives me his blessings, his thoughts.
Nice.
And
Life well
I
lived.
think I'm in a great
Beautiful.
place, in bliss.
Beautiful. A life well lived is successful. Yes. So, any last message you would like to give, Ashwani, for any entrepreneur or business leader who is looking up to you, as a role model? Like, how can they start to balance their life? Lead from purpose and from their heart and soul, feeling joyful, happy, and also not worrying and fearing whether they will be able to sustain it, make profits. Any last messages?
My father had a quote which was his favorite. जिंदगी जिंदा दिली का नाम है, मुर्दा दिल क्या खाक जिया करते हैं.
Right.
Be spirited. When the chips are up, when the chips are down, when you feel you're down and out, keep your spirits up. Those are in your control. External life situations are not in your control.
Yes.
But your interiority, keep it pleasant no matter what. And then play win-win-win. Play fair. Let's say my business is buyer, seller, but there are other stakeholders, the future generations, the Mother Earth, the society. Always work at playing win-win-win. These 3 wins will make you a great winner.
Right. The greater win for the planet. Beautiful. So beautifully summed up. Thank you so much, Ashwani. I really enjoyed the conversation and it was so inspiring. Thank you so much for coming here. I hope that you loved this conversation as much as I did. So, when we think of higher good, as Ashwini said, and we follow our purpose of making this planet a beautiful place, and we leave it even more beautiful because we came here, profit naturally follows. That's what I got from this conversation with a role model for conscious spiritual leadership, Ashwani Khurana. I hope that you will dive deep into this conversation many times to get the wisdom nuggets that Ashwani has shared from his life, both personal as well as business life, and it will inspire you many times. Please share your comments, any questions that you have for us in the comment section, and share this episode with any entrepreneur, leader who would love to be inspired by this conversation. Thank you, and I will see you in the next episode with another amazing leader. Bye for now.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank
Dharti Mata ki
you.
jai.
Yeah.